He would handle the lion himself. He would handle the bear himself. He showed a sense of responsibility and leadership right from the beginning. And so the few minutes that are remaining, I want to spend a bit of time just looking at the life of this young man, whom the Bible says he was a man after God's heart, despite all the many failures which he had. And I think it will be important. There are about 4 things that in the David, and you can find them in my book, Leadership King David Style, and a new book came out recently answering the question, how did God prepare David for leadership? Such that in the history of Israel, no other leader has come to the level of David. Not even that. In leadership literature, and I have read a lot, I did my master's in leadership, there is nobody else who can come to the level of King David. If you want to know something about leadership, whether in politics or church, but just study 2 Samuel. The whole book is a character study of David. And then 1 Samuel is a study of how God prepared him to become a leader. And I'm saying I've got both books. So in the time available, I want to list a number of things that the life of David teaches us to avoid if you want to be good leadership. Number 1 is the spirit of unforgiveness. David was forgiven many things from God. But more importantly, he forgave people. When his son Absalom wanted to overthrow him, everybody was saying, how can a son do that to a father? And of course, it was a real fight because the boy was serious. He wanted to take over. He thought the old man has taken too long. Why is he not dying? So, he was thrown out. As he is running away from Jerusalem, some poor guy started insulting you. It serves you right. Shemaiah, you know the story. And started throwing stones. The bodyguard says, let's cut off his head. He said, don't touch him. What about if God has sent him to insult me and you start killing him and it's God who has sent him? Leave him alone. How many presidents are that category? There's somebody disturbing them and instead of telling the police, take him on, they say, leave him. He's a nuisance, but maybe God has sent him a nuisance for the betterment of my leadership. David was not carrying a grudge. And therefore, he had a light heart that allowed him to lead. I want to tell you as leaders, as you are campaigning, many people insult you. When you become a leader and you start saying, Wataniona, you will spend all your time revenging and the year will be over with no impact. You will be well remembered as the head of the student body that achieved a great item called nothing. Am I communicating? Because you spend all your time doing what? Revenging. If you want to be a leader, you must learn forgiveness. Because many people do wrong. You know, when I became chairman, 1975, one of the things that I thought, what a challenge. I'm still a student, and there's so much work for the chairman. I thought people appreciate. Then after some time, you hear people saying funny things, which are not true, but they are talking about them. And you feel like, I'm going to resign. First of all, I'm getting no money for this. I'm spending all my time. I'm struggling, finishing my assignments at night because of what I was doing. I want to resign until God reminded me. You are not a leader because they asked you. You are a leader because I appointed you. Am I communicating? And they might be actually criticizing you as a way of keeping you in the straight and narrow. Testing whether you are starting to trust yourself rather than trust God. Am I communicating? When I discovered that, I realized it's not my business. People can call you names. And you are able to put figures or whatever you can put in your ears and continue where God has called you. Without looking for ways of, I can tell you for sure, there is no much you read. People will criticize you. They always can find something to criticize you. You know that chairman talks English in Kikuyu. Now, and if it is true, what's your problem? The important thing is you communicate. Are we together? I went to London and I was very surprised that people in London speak with accent. That's accent, that is the accent. They're all in Britain, but they keep telling me they can tell quickly which accent. So I said, you mean the accent is not as in Kenya? A Kikuyu accent, a Kalenjin accent. You should be proud to have your accent. It just says where you came from. And you're not embarrassed about where you. The only thing is, people must understand what you are saying. The accent must not. Am I communicating? People always find something to say. They'll say, wait a minute, her dresses are like mother's. She must have copied her mother's version. If I did, what's wrong with it? The work of dresses to cover nakedness. And the suit chair has no nakedness. So she has fulfilled her purpose. Are we together? If you don't like my fashion, that's none of my business. I continue with the